Visuals are something that Xbox has always strove to be on top of, even going back to the original Xbox. Games like Splinter Cell Chaos Theory and Project Gotham Racing, two series that need to come back by the way, showcase the PC rivaling power of the console. Of course, Xbox has always had a very close relationship to its PC brethren, going back to the Half-Life 2 and Morrowind Xbox ports. Now, in 2024, Xbox Series X and S is the platform bridging the PC gap with previous PC exclusives like Microsoft Flight Sim coming to console audiences. As we approach the midway point of the Xbox Series X's lifecycle, let's explore its most graphically impressive games. Here are the top 15 Xbox Series X games with stunning graphics. 15. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. The most immediately stunning aspect of Space Marine 2 is the gobsmackingly large swarms of enemies. Tyranid swarms are brilliantly realized here, with dynamic animations and a good amount of rendering detail even from a far distance. This is all thanks to the proprietary graphics engine that Saber Interactive uses, aptly named the Swarm Engine. Seeing a giant swarm of enemies coming at you from miles away has never felt more amazing. More broadly, the Warhammer 40k universe has never been so beautifully realized than with Space Marine 2. 14. Diablo IV. When it was first revealed that Diablo IV would use an eerie art style, fans were excited. The dark tone of Diablo IV translates into fantastic-looking environments, especially as the game features an open world. As many other graphics analysis have pointed out, Diablo 4's performance on Xbox Series X is nothing short of exemplary, running at 4K with fewer frame drops than PS5. There's a fair bit of environmental destruction within the highly detailed open world, and when this is all paired with the Series X's ray tracing, it combines to illustrate the game's world in the most detailed way we've seen yet. 13. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Star Wars Jedi Survivor had an unusual occurrence happen at launch. The console versions performed better than the PC version. This is because Jedi Survivor was constructed for consoles first and PC second, resulting in inconsistent frame rates and stutter in populated areas. By contrast, the game looks and performs wonderfully on Xbox Series X, being cited by many as one of the console's best-looking games. The ray tracing really brings out the game's beautifully rendered skyboxes, and the diverse enemy variety remains one of the most detailed and authentic for a Star Wars game yet. 12. HiFi Rush. Gamers were instantly taken in with HiFi Rush's stylish comic book aesthetic. Clearly taking inspiration from games of the Dreamcast era such as Jet Set Radio, HiFi Rush doesn't shy away from its starkly contrasted colors and painterly brushstrokes emulating comic book art. The character design is also unique and immediately identifiable, helping establish HiFi Rush as one of the most visually appealing games of the generation, despite not going for the ultra-realism so many modern games go for. 11. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. While Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC didn't necessarily enhance the graphical fidelity of the base game, it certainly gives us some of the best vistas in a FromSoft game yet. The Shadow Realm is covered in a literal veil, resulting in a dimmed light that reflects on every surface area of the new map. The unique lighting and horrific new enemies in the Shadow Realm highlight the already flawless graphics and performance found in the base game. In fact, FromSoft perhaps went too hard on the graphics with the DLC, giving certain bosses an insane amount of elemental attacks that pull on the Xbox Series X's ray tracing. While some of these bosses, like the notorious Dancing Lion, slowed down frame rate a bit with its wild elemental attacks, the visuals remain some of the best of the generation. 10. Baldurs Gate 3. Topping the top-down CRPG games on this list is the award-winning Baldurs Gate 3. Xbox Series X and S was actually the latest platform that Baldurs Gate 3 arrived on, and as a result, it managed to be one of the most polished ports due to a number of patches and fine-tuning. Graphics mode settings lock the frame rate to 30 FPS just like the PS5 version, though the performance mode is a consistent 60. The Xbox Series X is a clear winner regarding some of the screen tearing issues that occurred on PS5 and lower-spec PCs. It's impressive how well the developer translates the PC-centric mechanics of the popular CRPG series to consoles, and the visuals reflect the D&D-derived setting perfectly. 9. Tekken 8. As the first fighting game to use modern Unreal Engine 5 tech, Tekken 8 visually dazzled us on Xbox Series X. One of the main contributing factors to Tekken 8's visual success is its exclusivity to modern-gen systems, eschewing Xbox One entirely. The Xbox Series X pulls no punches with its 4K dynamic resolution scaler, which has been noted as the highest fidelity among console platforms. Characters abound with detail, from Leroy's stylishly decorated jacket to the bristles of fur on the beloved panda bodyguard. Few fighting games in the market can match Tekken 8's fluid and fast animations. 8. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. If you've ever wanted to play a Golden Age Pixar platforming game, Will of the Wisps has you covered. The game received numerous awards for Best Art Direction, and it somehow even jacked its graphics up a notch with the enhanced Xbox Series X version. This version's fidelity mode boosts graphics to 6K at 60 FPS. The 6K visuals are archived with super sampling, a process that enhances last gen's 4K visuals up and compresses it to your screen. Performance mode hits an impressive 4K at 120 FPS, making Ori and the Will of the Wisps one of the most artistically and graphically impressive games on the console despite its age. 7. A Plague Tale: Requiem. The Tyranid swarms in Space Marine 2 are impressive, sure, but they're not nearly as terrifying as the rat swarms infesting A Plague Tale: Requiem. Asobo Team somehow managed to increase the number of rats on screen from the first game's 5,000 to a shocking 300,000 rats. And these rats aren't just static images either, they're animated to look like a tsunami charging at you with realistic physics and flow. Requiem features some of the most beautiful skyboxes in any game I've ever seen as well, with densely populated towns littered with lively NPCs going about their business. 6. Allan Wake 2. The Pacific Northwest has never been more realistically portrayed in a video game than Allan Wake 2. Well, a fictional portrayal of the Pacific Northwest anyway. Exploring the wooded Bright Falls in Allan Wake 2 is an absolute delight, thanks to the painstaking attention to detail that went into rendering small objects like parking signs and lattice gates to large objects like the ubiquitous rain-soaked evergreen trees. And it's no surprise the game looks as good as it does, considering Allan Wake 2 is one of the most expensive media projects to ever come out of Finland. 5. Gears 5. Gears 5 may be 5 years old at this point, but it's still breathtaking to look at, representing the very best graphics that Unreal Engine 4 had to offer. While the blockbuster action features great lighting and detail, it's the characters' rendering and animations that help Gears 5 stand out. It's no exaggeration to say that Gears 5 rivals The Last of Us with its realistic character movement and behaviors, something that is still unlikely to be matched outside of Naughty Dog, Ninja Theory, or the next Gears title. While Gears 5 may be the only game on the list that's not technically released for Xbox Series X, its Series X optimization is superb, hitting 120 FPS and 4K visuals throughout the locust-killing adventure. 4. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Given just how lifelike the graphics for 2020's Microsoft Flight Simulator were, it's not strange that the 2024 iteration finds its way on the list. The new game still aims to capture a 1-to-1 scale version of environments featuring realistic flight times. Like the last iteration, some cities and airports will get more details put into them than others, and what we've seen of previews has truly impressed. Flight Simulator 2024 brings a host of new additions, such as aviation career modes and the inclusion of helipads, oil rigs, and glider airports for the first time. 3. Cyberpunk 2077: Phantom Liberty. Cyberpunk 2077 has come a long way since its disastrous launch from 2020. The Phantom Liberty expansion came at the tail end of an overhaul for the game, fixing many long-standing bugs as well as features that were initially promised, like a rideable metro. The new district of Dogtown is jam-packed with detail and does a good job showing off the power of modern consoles with its vistas. The Petrochem Stadium is a treat to walk through with its indoor mall-like vibe, and the Luxor Heights Pyramid showing off the Series X ray tracings with its neon-lit display during the night. If you were waiting for Cyberpunk to get fixed, now's the time to jump in and experience the densely detailed Night City for yourself. 2. Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl. After a string of delays and passionate anticipation from fans, the long-awaited sequel to Stalker is finally coming on November 20th. Stalker 2 is exclusive to the Xbox Series X and S and PC, and it's not ashamed to give many current-gen games a run for their money graphically. Utilizing Unreal Engine 5, Stalker 2 looks visually jaw-dropping with its depiction of horror-infused sci-fi setting. Despite Stalker 2's massive 60-square-kilometer map, the devs assure us that every location is built by hand. Previews can't help but praise how beautiful and realistic the environments look. 1. Senua's Saga: Hellblade 2. One of the most hyped Xbox exclusives of the year was Hellblade 2, a game that failed to satisfy fans in the gameplay department but absolutely nailed it with its graphical presentation. This game has become the new benchmark for showcasing the Xbox Series X's graphical fidelity. Particularly impressive is the character rendering, featuring characters so well realized and realistic as to leave many of us thinking they're real actors instead of the motion cap performances that they actually are. Hellblade 2's photo mode lets you really zoom in and see every bead of sweat and pinch of dirt on a person's face. Of course, a game isn't a game if it isn't in motion and played, and Hellblade 2 thankfully features top-notch character animations on top of its tremendous rendering capacity. As we said in our Hellblade 2 review, it's simply one of, if not the most, graphically impressive console game out there. Hey, did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell, and let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.